Hello, good afternoon. My name is Katie Palisol. I'm the General Manager for the UK's Politico office. And I'm really pleased to be here today moderating this session. I'm joined by CFM International, a world-leading aviation manufacturer with major operations in Europe. CFM is a joint venture between GE Aerospace and Safran Aircraft Engines of France. And in 2024, they celebrated their 50th anniversary of their successful transatlantic partnership. Aircraft engines made by CFM power 3 out of every 4 commercial departures worldwide. And as a result, CFM's efforts to improve aircraft engine efficiency has a major impact on overall flight emissions. So I'm really pleased to be joined here today, and I'm going to introduce our panelists. Riccardo Procacci, he is the President and CEO of Propulsion and Additive Technologies at GE Aerospace. Riccardo leads the Propulsion and Additive Technologies organization with the focus on researching, developing, and manufacturing innovative technologies for civil and military aircraft components, and propulsion systems with more than 25 years of GE experience. Previously, Riccardo led the team that planned the smooth transition of Avio into GE, and in 2013 was appointed Avio Aero CEO. In 2020, he assumed additional responsibilities as CEO of GE Additive, and in 2022 increased his leadership scope to include Dijoud propellers and Unison Industries teams. And Delphine Dijoud, Deputy VP, Engineering and R&T, Safran Aircraft Engines. Delphine leads systems engineering teams in charge of existing and future commercial aircraft propulsions. Delphine worked as an engineer for the LEAP program before being appointed in 2019 as chief engineer for next generation propulsion. She led Safran multidisciplinary engineering teams, inventing the future propulsion systems, establishing and executing a comprehensive roadmap to test and mature technologies. So we are going to kick off this fireside chat. We're going to dive into more details on how these companies are collaborating to advance new technologies for the future of air transportation in Europe. So Riccardo, I'm going to ask you if you could set the scene here and describe how the aviation industry is innovating today to meet the needs of customers, airlines, and passengers in the future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Let me start again, setting the stage and share with you that a new engine comes from an effort that starts probably with at least 10 years of research before it becomes a product. When it goes under a wing, it takes probably another 10 years before it becomes profitable. So it is an act of vision, an act of courage that takes 25 years before it becomes a valuable business proposition. And so the first thing when you say how the industry is innovating, I think the first thing we need as an industry is vision and courage. Because besides the 20 or 25 years, what you cannot afford is to be wrong after 25 years if you want to still be in business. It also requires the ability to execute. And to execute globally, to execute in partnership. I don't think I can mention in my experience of any single engine or any single aerospace big project that is executed not in one city or even in one country, not in one continent. Everything happens across the Atlantic Oceans, to say the least, often with involvement of partners around the world. And the ability of executing in such a complex environment is something that is peculiar of this industry, together with a truly global mindset that you need to have, because the thing will tell you that putting together Italian and French is already an exercise. You want to add Americans to it, it becomes an act of faith. And finally, now the third element of this recipe for innovation in our sector is deep pockets. You need to be able to sustain your investments for 20, 25 years before you start becoming profitable. And being profitable is not the mark of evil. Being profitable is what you need if you want to start the next cycle of investment. Delphine will talk to you probably about LEAP engine, that is our current top of the notch product. We consider it still in almost introduction phase. It's been around for 10 years.
Yes.
And we already been spending money on the next generation for 5 years. That's how complex it is. Did I say enough?
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. So it'd be really interesting to understand a little bit more onto how is CFM International looking to address these needs with the RISE technology demonstration program.
Okay. So as Ricardo said, for sure, we entered in a new area of innovation for our industry and for CFM. I had the great pleasure to be part of the adventure of the CFM RISE program since its very beginning, since its launch in 2021. It's the biggest, it's the largest technology maturation plan for CFM history. And we have an ambition, you say the vision. We had an ambition to improve by 20% the fuel efficiency compared to today. So for that, we need to combine open fan plus compact core plus hybrid. So what is open fan? I saw a picture behind me. And it's a brand new architecture of a non-ducted engine, jet engine. So that means that we remove the fan duct for higher efficiency with less drag at the same flight speed as the current fleet. So that's the concept, the most promising concept we are working on. And it's getting concrete right now with more than 350 tests already completed with wind tunnel tests, more than 300 hours in wind tunnel tests in Europe, plus 3,000 endurance cycle for HP technologies, plus hybrid demonstration, plus. And we are right now transitioning from the modular to the modular tests, and then engine tests up to flight tests this decade with Airbus to demonstrate the capability of those technologies before launching a new product.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll jump on something to give a little bit of color. Delphine nicely said that next generation engine will be 20% more efficient. Well, if you consider that we launch an engine every about 20 years, a new family of engines every about 20 years, it's like every year our fleet becoming 1% more efficient. Just imagine that happening to your car, if you still have a fuel, gasoline car, and what would happen to the fuel consumption of your car. This is how deeply invested is our industry into innovation and efficiency.
And that's really interesting because with this innovation, I mean, it would be great if you could go in and explain a bit more on the impact of jobs and investment across Europe to advance sort of this innovative effect.
Innovation is a global effort and a global exercise. When you look at the RISE engine that you see behind us and that Delphine is talking about, we got engineers, about 1,000 engineers working in Prague, a smaller team of engineers working in Bielsko-Biała, another place in Poland, and 1,000 engineers in Italy, Munich Research Center. Everything that Safran does, I cannot count the numbers,
France,
but will be
Belgium, Germany, UK,
okay. And this is before we cross the ocean and we go back to the US. So the kind of effort that is made and developed on a global scale to innovate is unparalleled. And all of this before we start cutting steel and making parts, before we build a new factory for the new product. Our industry is unique in terms of how much can create quality jobs around the world and in Europe specifically. That's why here in Europe it's very important that we keep going with various programs like clean aviation that are helping maintaining certain investments here in Europe.
So, for sure, and I totally agree, that all these investments help also Europe to secure their sustainability, for sure, challenges, but also competitiveness and sovereignty. And in terms of R&D effort, Safran is right now investing more than 5 billion euros up to 2028, I think, on R&D. GE has also billions every year. And most of the R&D activities for Safran are based in Europe, so for sure in different countries. And we are investing massively also in state-of-the-art production sites and test sites. We are right now building a new facility close to Paris to test the full open fan module, so full scale, and it will be operational next year, and it will serve all the development and certification testing for the RISE program. We also recruit thousands of talented people each year on each side to support this effort. And as Ricardo mentioned, for sure, we are already helped. We are helped by the European aviation funding. It's in terms of partnership, it's a while for Safran and GE Avio that we are partnering. So it's all started with Clean Sky when we demonstrated the benefits of an unducted engine, which was the counter-rotating open rotor. And right now, we want to move to a more advanced and simplified architecture, which is the open fan that we mentioned before. And thanks to clean aviation efforts, we are right now progressing through the Ophelia project, so preparing the demonstrator, maturing key technologies, developing also calculation capabilities, all within a consortium of 26 major European partners. So it's really the whole aviation ecosystem working with us to make it happen.
Fantastic. So we've got some policymakers in the room, and for those policymakers in the room and other sort of global stakeholders, what more can the EU do to support technology and innovation like this?
Well, I mentioned already about clean aviation, this joint undertaking that are very helpful. We need help to make doing business in Europe easier than it is today. The cost of bureaucracy, the cost of regulation, the cost of reporting is just too high, and there's a negative impact. We live in a competitive environment, and to bring an investment in Europe, when you can make it in India or in the US or a few other parts, or in Canada, it needs to be competitive. So any help that could come to simplify doing business in Europe will be very beneficial.
And for sure, team, I think it's also a question of teaming, and sustainability is clearly a team effort. And if we want to achieve a very ambitious goal, we need to work collaboratively across the industry with a strong public support, for sure, so that we can succeed all together and make it happen.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really interesting to hear about the collaboration that's lasted for such a long time, but also the way that you're collaborating throughout the industry and also taking on that long-term vision. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are now breaking up for a coffee break. So the return time will be 3:35. So thank you. No problem.
We are united in diversity. We are very heterogeneous in our opinion.
We are doing this in our open democracies. Discussion is all open and loud, and I'm not for that.
What is European Union? What is freedom? How we learn together.
The obvious question is, what is the EU doing? What is our plan?